That's right.
And there'd have been like gold lights coming off of it as I turn.
Sure.
What a range.
You just don't know what you're going to get.
What an absolute variation.
It's a wide
swath.
Yeah.
So anyway, I turned the corner and then, whoa, and there it is. And it says smoked bison brisket. And I said, oh, I think I will. And the only thing that stopped me from taking more than 4 pieces was there were only like 6 in there, and there were other people in line. And so I said, oh, I can't take them all.
One of the new developments here this season that I've noticed is both on arrival and departure and a smoked aroma. So I was wondering
every day
where it was manifesting. Somebody down there knows what they're doing.
That
was a delight. What you just, and you were kind enough to share and give me a little chunk.
I insisted.
You felt obligated, and I loved that. Generous, incredible tone. Even offered me the knife and said, "Look, I haven't touched the knife. I just grabbed it. Hands owned it. Boy, moist, tender, juicy, flavorful, juicy.
It was a delight. Bravo. I mean, if anything, hopefully everything
else.
One
of my favorite things that I've had. There was a split piece soup at one point that was stunning,
a giant like ham hock
with the ham in there. That was probably the
piece de resistance. Yeah,
that had it. But this was right there.
By the way, I'm also happy. Gibbe's back.
Gibbe's back. Gibbe.
Hi, boys.
Gibbe.
What percentage are you right now?
Probably about 72, maybe 73 in honor of Joe Thomas.
All right. I like it. 73%. So Gibbe is back. Yesterday at the end of the program, I had to go down to the stadium to procure things for the young Beamsy's birthday, which is coming up tomorrow. And
Keg.
Yeah, he's 9.
It's fine.
Not quite
Start him
yet.
early.
Not quite yet.
Start him early.
So we so I went down there. So incredible array of products there for purchase. They do such a good job. Great people down there. So I went down there to get something that was asked for. And I'd be remiss to not mention that it is a little surreal that items of clothing that I feel like single-handedly popularized.
That we amplified, if nothing, at a bare minimum.
The very least made people abundantly aware of the coolness.
Yes, and interested.
And continued to really beat it home, the importance of it. And I'm speaking specifically of the Dorsey hoodie, which is still there, or the Dorsey Crew, which they're still selling down there in the higher sizes. And that's still a damn good-looking sweatshirt.
It is a beaut. It's a classic.
And then the equipment staff from a bygone era, but still, I still think it's good. I still think you can pull it off. They have a clearance rack, like it's 50% off marked for like sizes 2X, like some of the big sizes in that Dorsey hoodie. So they're like $12.
Gibbe.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then, of course, the equipment staff hoodie, which I am certain we were the first to notice. I'll never forget the day we first saw it when Stefanski was walking around here in it, and we stopped traffic.
We haven't even stopped talking about it.
No.
And in fact, the lore of the equipment hoodie lives on.
It does.
Because there has been a black.
Most of these varieties are down there for purchase.
Can you purchase the black in the store?
No. It's orange
and gray.
Gray or brown.
A brown?
Gray, maybe?
I've never seen a brown.
So maybe it's
There's a gray.
They're new era. The branding down there is new era.
Oh, not on a Nike.
Not on a Nike. But new era does good. I mean, it's good stuff.
Fine, yeah.
So, but you could get the orange one, and then you get the gray one, and then there's all sorts of brownie stuff, Proud or Stiffy, either one.
Well, let me tell you what I've seen.
Do you want to even say this out loud?
I do.
I'm fearful that if you say it out loud, it will become something that we see on more people that are not you.
No way. There's only one in the world right now.
I understand. At one point, there was only one black one, and there was only one orange one, and there was only one gray one. And now, all of a sudden, they're everywhere. And I just think if you say this out loud, I'm going to turn on NFL Network, and Kyle Brandt's going to be wearing one. So that's my concern.
Well, only because it's designed to needle me, which it's very effective. Brad Melland is
You and I have talked about this specific version off air.
All right, so I won't say it.
Okay.
What is what I'll say? I am Sunday in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
Well, she's moving with a purpose, getting those plugs.
That's a big stride out. I had no electricity today. Maybe that just happened back there.
Yeah. So I'm doing News 5. So if anybody watched Brown's Countdown and you noticed my eyes and face looking to another place than the camera and my jaw dropping, it is because Brad Melland, Equipment Manager of the Year, the Melland Pursuit of Perfection Award that we hand out all the time, was wearing that, which has never been seen before. It has never even been discussed other than by us before as being a possibility. And sure enough, he strides out of the tunnel in that.
God.
So
good night, nurse.
I am doing my TV, so I'd kind of be like this, holding the mic. I see it out of the corner of my eye, and I'm waiting for them, to come back. They're talking to the studio. I'm in a box. And I see it out of the corner of my eye, and I look at it, and I go like this. Jaw drop, mouth agape, eyes open. And then I start shaking my head because I'm going to put the mic down now. This is what he was doing in front of me, right behind the camera, now while I am talking.
My God.
And I have to be like chuckling while he's doing it. But this is how Brad Melton walks by in this particular outfit.
All right, so here comes the girl. Now he's now impersonating Mellon with, oh gosh, kind of like folks, if you can imagine, the Vince McMahon gif when he strides out. It's got a little bit of that to it, a little more bounce, but just a lot of, or like that gif of like the guy getting out of the big rimmed Cadillac when he gets out.
It's that guy.
It's that guy. It's that guy. Yeah. So that's the look. That's kind of the walk.
That's what he did to me. And so then we're on the plane flight home, and I've come to him like, what is this? What is going on? What is happening right now?
So at that point, up until that point, you and I have discussed that particular version.
Yeah.
You discussed it with him.
Yeah.
Because he's been holding this over us for 18 months.
I mean, he's pulled out one of the greatest pranks ever on me.
Yeah, that's correct.
On draft night.
One of the longest cons that's ever been.
He's sent hoodies and taken them back from numerous people just to try to get my goat.
Yeah, yeah. So that's his even some who the fact that they were even in the possession is stupefying. So he is now, you then went to him and said, what I would like to do is this. And then he goes, how do you even know about that?
Yeah.
And then there's no more speaking of it, and then it just shows up on the sidelines in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're telling me just happened.
And it was done just 100%. He wore that just for me.
For sure.
So he's like peacocking back and forth now behind the camera, having the time of his life, loving it. We're on the plane flight home, and he would be like, hey, Nathan, did you tell Jim what I had on earlier? Because I'm sitting, of course, with the great voice of the Cleveland Browns, Jim Donovan. So I told Jim what he's wearing. And I don't know if it even really resonated with Jim, but Jim's like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. He's like, you can have one.
He's Oprah.
Yeah. And then, I don't even remember who else. You can have one. You can have it. We're in yesterday, we're down there. I interviewed Jordan Elliott, and we're standing around, and he goes up to me, and I'm standing with Mo Pedman. And he's like, hey, did Nathan tell you about what I had on? And I proceeded to tell him, and he's like, you can have one, Ken. Ken's like, oh, that's great.
Pedman gets one too.
So, and then he'll always be like, at the end of it, he'll always be like, I think you're ready to be bestowed. He's like, I think you're ready. I think you're ready for it.
And yet not.
And I'm like, I am ready for it.
I think you've been ready.
I've been ready.
You've even saved him at one point.
Saved him. With the beanie, which I now lost the replacement of that beanie.
And there's no more of those. They're done.
I found one on eBay that I ordered. Fake. So bad. And it's awful. It's like the worst fake of all time. Because that was the best beanie ever.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
So it's over. You'll never get it back.
No.
Is there back stock somewhere? Do we have old stock somewhere?
Not of that one. Because believe me, I asked.
Yes. I've seen it.
Is it over across the street? Is that where that stuff is?
No,
or is
it's
it
downstairs.
It's all down there, and he's
the
just
Pursuit of Perfection has a few drawers.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that beanie.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, he doesn't have that beanie.
You sure?
Yeah, I bailed him out with that beanie. He'd have no
so
problem. So
he would owe it to you, to be able to do it. All right. Players, in terms of our little game against the Chargers, which happens on Sunday here's where we are from an injury standpoint. We had a bunch of not practices yesterday. Joel Bitonio, Harrison Bryant, Jadeveon Clowney, Amari Cooper, David Njoku. None of those guys practiced. Do you want to do your thing? We say worry, don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Batonio. Bryant. Clowney.
Leaning positive.
Coop.
More positive than negative. 100% fine.
Chief.
Fine.
Miles.
Playing.
Brian.
Playing.
Elliott.
Playing.
Heg.
I don't
J-OK.
know. I mean, he hasn't been active anyway.
J.O.K.
Fine.
Denzel.
Fine.
All right, there you go. So that's pretty good. So we hope
We're
for
pretty
Clowney
healthy,
and then
we're pretty
hope
healthy.
for the best.
Clowney to me right now is the only question mark. That's the only question mark.
All right. Speaking of JOK, yesterday when I was down there at the equipment or at the store down there, they have youth JOK jerseys. So that's never happened before. Apparently, they just put them on the shelves yesterday.
Is this a spoiler alert for a certain someone?
So they have them there. So that's something that you can't, because that's one you can't customize. You can't go online,
Too
like
many
whether you
letters?
go Fanatics or whatever, like they won't let you customize it because it's too long on the letter size. But they're down there. So you have that. So that's keep your eyes out for those. If you've been looking, they're now available. Also,
slanging merch. Love it.
boy, this is what we do.
We are billboards.
Billboards for the organization. Stewards
We try to be.
for merch.
Just bestow things upon us. Hey, I have a little bit of news as well.
Do you want me to do this Chargers stuff first, or do you want to save that, or do you want me to do the Chargers information first?
What do you want to do?
Let's get the business, and then we'll come back to the fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
For the Chargers, Keenan Allen did not practice. Dustin Hopkins, Josh Palmer, Kyle Van Noy, all limited. Herbert, Horvath, Austin Johnson. I mean, some of these guys don't even matter. I think
Xander
Allen,
Horvath, first fullback in Chargers history to catch a touchdown in each of his first 2 games.
good for him. Keenan Allen's
Send the notes.
Keenan Allen's one that you're would be.
DNP, stay away.
Yeah.
Don't need to see you.
Don't need to see him at all.
He's
One
on
other
the fantasy
roster
team.
move. We talked about this yesterday. Pharaoh Brown to the active roster.
Yeah.
Does that, from a fantasy standpoint, how much does that affect Chief at all? None? Zero? Okay.
Not one bit. Farrell, the person that affects the most, my guess, would be Miller Forrestal.
No, I just mean, like, will Pharaoh get some of those?
I mean, he had 7 catches for 72 yards on the whole season.
Yeah,
This guy's got 400 yards in his career.
All right,
I mean,
very good.
I'm not worried about that.
You had your arm raised, your hand raised?
I did. So I got a little. Let's start with your fun, though. I'm going to turn the tables to you.
All right.
Last night, you put forth an incredible Instagram video, an absolutely stunning video about
One take.
how to make.
That's all we do.
Duh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's us.
Yeah. That's
How you make an old fashioned. You did so from one of the most gorgeous bars on the planet.
Oh,
which
that'll make the
happens to
blonde
be
feel
in
good.
your
She'll
home.
feel good about that. Yeah.
You should feel good about that. Mama, I made it. I mean,
Not gonna lie, that was my first takeaway.
oh my God, it
That's
looked
a
like the
pretty
bar of
impressive,
like
nice little
it looked like
station there.
it looked like the bar that you'd find in the lobby of a swanky hotel, which to me is an incredible compliment.
This was her deal. She had this vision for this thing, and away we went.
It had to be based off of like a swanky hotel bar. Then I mean, that's in my
I
mind.
would assume
Or
that
a
she
very
saw
nice
it something,
restaurant.
or she was
Yeah.
in. Yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
Sure. Well,
But
incredible.
thank
Great
you. Yes,
job.
very good, yeah.
My favorite part of that video, in terms of also the learning, of course, the black wall and the bitters. I'd had that secret from you for
we
many
worked
times.
that out. Yeah.
Was when Bootsy ran down and you had to set him and go, and where's his mother? That I died laughing when you said that.
Because-
Just so under you're like, what you said, where's his mother? Where's his mother? I was dying. So good.
And that was a risky thing to say because the mother was holding the camera. So
That's made it even funnier then.
she was the one recording.
I figured.
So good
She
job out of
held
her.
it?
Yeah, she held it.
That's a hold?
That's a hold.
Incredible steadiness.
Yeah, well, she was in the business. She's in the business.
Yeah, but that
So-
just speaks to a toned arm.
Yeah, I mean, she
There's
did.
no
she
doubt.
she held it. It was steadied. So I had told the boys, I'm going to be recording something.
Don't come down.
And if who can't help themselves, Bootsy. So yeah, he came down in the mix.
Where's his mother? Even better. That's
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah, she was.
So
shooting.
that
was that's my go-to one. Like if you were to come over and I were to make an old fashioned, that's the one I would make.
So
now
you-
I have a maple version that I make. I've got a chocolate version that I
Sure.
make a more traditional one that I make, which is more of an orange spice.
I was gonna say, but you don't have an orange peel in there.
No.
You eschew it. Okay.
I don't. I'm not interested. I don't muddle an orange. I don't do any of that. So that's not the. And it's like, I think I said it in the thing. I can't remember, but some people say, well, it's got to have. It doesn't have to have anything. Like there's certain things it has to have. It's got to have bitters. It's got to have some sort of simple syrup or sugar or something like that.
Sure.
Those things are musts. Beyond that, bourbon would be required. A whiskey of some sort. You could use rye, and all of that is required. But beyond that, it's all up to you. It's a subjective process.
I've even had a smoked mezcal old-fashioned.
Mezcal has so much smoke anyway.
Yeah.
How do they?
It's just because they served it in that smoky thing.
The smoky thing.
The fun thing.
Where do you come down on the smoked old-fashioned?
I like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the presentation. When I get to like lift a beaker off and the smoke
cool.
comes out, it smells good. I like it.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
No.
I don't think
it's not my favorite, but as a change of pace, I don't mind it.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. It feels like there's a lot. Like to do it at home would be a lot.
Oh God, no. No. I told you the coolest one I ever had though was the one down in Florida where they somehow got the smoke into the ice sphere.
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
cracked it with a ball peen hammer, so then it falls like right in, and the smoke comes out, and that was pretty cool. So my little bit of news is, we've been getting these beautiful game posters, which have been fun.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Your boy might make a cameo on these posters. I'm told. Not my favorite likeness of me I've ever seen, to be perfectly honest.
Like a caricature.
But it's pretty good.
Is it like a Where's Waldo? Like you're
No. You're
prominent?
Quite. Yeah.
On a game poster?
Yeah.
I mean, that feels kind of like an obituary type mention.
The Hoff's been on one, but of course he was done for a legend.
With all due respect.
Totally. I'm in a very supporting role to Brownie. Like I am.
But nevertheless.
In a role. Yeah. They showed it to me yesterday.
Where can we look forward to this? When can we look forward?
We'll get them tomorrow.
Oh, this is for tomorrow?
Yeah, for this game.
Oh my God. Amazing. So this is what's going to be amazing. So I'm going to get Bootsy that one. You'll sign it. He won't even be able to wrap his head around it.
It'll be great.
Because then now you will become a cartoon character for him.
Yeah. I feel like, I'll tell you this is what I want you to think. When you see it.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the only clue I would want to give away, and we'll see if tomorrow you come up with the same person.
We'll review it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like I look like a very unique and prominent character from one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I think if you took my face in this.
From this caricature.
And put it into on this guy's body in this particular film, you would be like, you look like that guy.
I'll see if I can pick it out.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Join the CBD crew live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Strongsville. That's next Tuesday, October 11th from 1 to 3. Wow. Stop out, meet Browns legend Kevin Mack from 1 to 2. Visit the Cleveland Browns Facebook page to learn more.
We got another every Tuesday, I feel like.
Yeah, we're out here slinging. Hey, get us some merch to wear. We'll sling it. We'll sell it to the people.
Yeah. I'd like that.
Yeah.
Hey.
We'll tell.
You have a bunch of things on your agenda. You have a sit down with the man, Mr. Rossi. Add that to it. Be like, hey, we're billboards. We need some gear because I see I'll tell you what, when we were at UH, all of the community kids have every piece of gear that's ever been made.
They do, yeah. That's no question. All the crucial catch
impressive
stuff. It's all there.
We have a polo.
We do. I'll tell you, there's a salute to service quarter zip that's nice. This year,
I saw it. It's already on the radar. I made a mention.
Is it?
I do like it.
Is it?
I do. It's kind of a khaki,
but it's the color of it's like it can't commit to whatever color it is.
It isn't. It's more khaki than green, I would say.
But together.
Yeah. Yesterday in the equipment shop, I liked it.
You did.
I did.
I saw it on. Who was wearing it?
But it could be different under natural light.
McBee was wearing it yesterday, maybe.
If it's under natural light, it may look different.
I wanted to love it.
All right. Well,
I like the one I had on Monday. That's that sweet black with a little brownie on there.
That's an
Antigua
one. Yeah, that's nice.
From the golf collection.
I like that. All right, so we will go around the league. We will go behind enemy lines here in just a little bit as well. Matt Smith is going to join us on the program. We're off and running here on a Thursday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the official partner of your Cleveland Browns. While you depend on the Browns to win, you can also depend on OBM because it can tackle any size office situation. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Colts and Broncos with no running backs. Not on.
I know, but I'm not getting
Now
it.
you are.
Now I am?
Yeah.
Why am I not hearing it? Who knows?
I don't know.
What a world we live in. Anyway, now I hear it.
Now you got it. There's a short over there somewhere.
No running backs.
No running backs.
No quarterbacks.
I may dip on this game.
No way. Thursday. I love Thursdays.
I like it, but here's the problem. It's prime. I can't flip.
You know
so
what?
I'm stuck. So if at best this is going to be a second screener for me because I don't want to be – I'm not locked into Colts
All
and
right,
Broncos.
watch Outlander.
So I'll have it on. Look at this guy.
Look
What's
at
he up to?
Man, lugging around a lot
Boy,
of
he
stuff.
looks like the weight of the world is on his shoulders
Yeah.
right there, doesn't it, Scarlett?
He was getting into the gym yesterday, maybe this is trying to get fit for this.
Well, he's going to go watch Clemson, his alma mater, play against Notre Dame here in a month, and so maybe he's trying to show his
training,
people.
getting ready for that.
Yeah, that he's ready.
By the way, so watch Outlander.
All
I've
right.
given you that. Or watch Dahmer. It's actually pretty interesting.
I'm not into it. I can't do it.
It's dark.
There's nothing that could make me watch it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know enough.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it was
It's
crazy
nuts.
in the moment. Don't you remember how creepy that was?
Dude,
We're old
yeah.
enough to remember that, like him being caught.
Oh, yeah.
So
vividly.
It freaked me out as a kid, man.
Yeah.
When did he get caught? What's the year on that?
1991.
Yeah. So middle school?
Yeah, that was 7th grade.
7th grade, something like that? No, I don't. I'm good.
Thanks. He basically did it for the first 13 years of our life because his first was in 78.
God.
And then 91 he was caught.
There was a lot going on at that time. Those movies were coming out. Like 7 was later, but Silence of the Lambs was out at that time. Manhunter was out at that time.
Yeah, you're out on
there
that
was
stuff.
I'm out on all that
So
stuff.
watch Outlander.
You had that. You had we had the Unabomber in Montana was around that time. Not great.
Watch Outlander. You'll love it.
We'll see what that is all about. So, but anyway, I'll have this on, but it's not as juicy. Like my running backs are Taylor and Javonte Williams. So
neither will be
I would have otherwise been totally into it. One other thing we got to get to is got Matt Money Smith coming in here in a second. This bozo who ran on the field is trying to file a police report against Bobby Wagner.
For what?
Let me just ask you guys something.
Assault.
I assume that there is something in the ticketing part of the process that says if you go on the field, all bets are off, brother.
You've lost all legal remedy.
That I'm sure of it.
Yes.
There's no way there's not. If someone allows their charges to be filed, like this guy should be arrested for even trying.
Yes, good. And he should be sentenced to another tackling drill with Bobby Wagner.
I'm going to tell you something else. If this does go anywhere, then Wagner ought to sue Peyton Manning. Because the only reason anybody's even talking about it is because Manning said we're on the B team. We can shoot
Manning into this.
And I love Manning. But if he doesn't do it, nobody even knows this exists.
Yes, the cell phone
because they're
videos.
Not showing
no,
it. Yeah, but it doesn't.
No.
It went nuts because of
for
Manning
sure,
bringing
but
it
it would
to
have also
attention.
gone nuts because of the cell phone videos. Like
But the cell phone videos were not as clear of a hit like you see in the.
Well, did you see the reverse
ESPN
angle one? That's a
camera.
way better
Yes,
angle one.
of course.
That's a cell phone
But
video.
those
that one's
are
great.
from the broadcast. The selfie videos are up high.
Yeah, but there's one where it's like a kablowy.
Yeah. But I think the reason it's known is because of the Manning cast.
Enhanced.
Yeah,
fine.
sure.
I mean, come on. Anything that ever happens at a sporting event because of Barstool it makes it to everybody.
Probably true. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. We'll go behind enemy lines coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, time to go behind enemy lines here on Cleveland Browns Daily. Let's head out on the Twisted Tea hotline, and the voice of the Chargers, Matt Money Smith, joining us. Always great to talk to Matt, and look forward to welcoming him here on Sunday. Let's just start health-wise. Bosa's obviously known, but in terms of the questionable guys, who's feeling likely in this week? And, of course, I'm thinking mostly about Keenan. Has he been ruled? Any ruling on him yet?
I don't think he's going to play. That's my guess. He hasn't been practicing. Either way, like if you're asking me which way do I think it's leaning, I think it's leaning that he doesn't play. Just kind of the way that practice is mapped out. I think just kind of the guys that are going to come back, I think you're going to have Donald Parham back for the first time this year. That's their 6'9" tight end that has been a real big red zone target for Justin Herbert since the two arrived a couple of years ago. So that's going to be a big get, just because Gerald Everett is more of in that like 6'2", 6'3" range. So to have kind of that giant catch radius is going to go a long way, I think, for Justin in the red zone. The fact that Corey Linsley came back last week was just a huge boost. I mean, there's just such a big difference with him playing center. Even though Will Clapp did an okay job, Corey's just one of the best in the business. And man, you could really see it out there against Houston.
When you look at this team, let's start on the offense. Obviously, it starts with the quarterback, Justin Herbert, who is leading the number one passing offense in the league right now. I was able to watch a couple of the games. He looks sensational, man. I mean, other than whatever happened against the Jags, I don't know about that game, and I know he was banged up, but this game against Houston certainly was firing on all cylinders. What's making this offense go, and is there any concern for anyone that the running game is last when the passing game is first?
Yeah, it's funny, it's like it's bizarro teams, right? You guys got the most explosive rush attack and the least explosive pass attack. The Chargers have the most explosive passing offense and the least explosive rushing offense. Let's see what wins. I think there is concern. Last week saw Austin Eckler get on track for the first time this season, and it was just such a big difference. The way the ends were crashing and linebackers were filling. And filling those run fits on play action opened up so much for Mike Williams downfield in the middle of the field. So I think they got to figure that out. They've got to continue to figure it out. Austin had a great game. Obviously, you score 3 touchdowns, you have a great game.
Sure.
Just the fact that he averaged 4.5 yards per carry, it was so different than anything we had seen in those big games. So I think that is going to be important because play action is a big part of this offense. Particularly with those shot plays, and how good Mike is on the outside with those 50-50 balls when you can, get those extra, second to second and a half to let that develop. Herbert's just so good with kind of his accuracy downfield that's going to be important. So I think they're going to have to continue to build on the success against Houston. And I think we all know, look, Houston's run defense, it might be the worst in the league. I don't know statistically, but it's going to be a much tougher task this week to make sure that ground game stays on track. And just I know I didn't really answer the question about Herbert. Yeah, Herbert's been great.
Yeah.
Herbert's he's really good about feeling pressure and either getting rid of the ball quick. And I know a lot of people kind of were taking shots at him and Joe Lombardi about why are they checking down so much. And I think it's because there was some pressure. Matt Filer's been a little leaky this year. They're breaking in a new right tackle, and Herbert's just fine. Not going broke, taking a profit of 4 to 5 yards on every drop back.
Yeah, it's interesting. This is clearly the most talented team that we've played this season by a pretty wide margin, and obviously Justin's one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the league, and the explosiveness and all of it. So for us, there's always a needle that you're trying to thread, and so you're looking for a way to have success. And one thing that kind of jumps out a little bit is it feels like we should be able to have some success running the ball with the 2 backs and playing play action off of that and having some success. Is there a level of concern defensively on the Chargers side? Obviously, no, Bosa's huge, but beyond that, on their side of the ball for the ability that the Browns could have to run it on Sunday?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. I think, like I said, if you just go through those stats, the fact the Browns have the most explosive runs and the least explosive pass plays, a defensive coordinator should know what to do. Yet they can't do anything about it. So I think it's a huge concern. The thing I'll say is this defense is so much different than the one last year that gave up, 150 to Nick, and including that 52-yard run, and I think another 50 or something to Kareem Hunt in that game. The interior has become stout. It's been really good with the additions of Austin Johnson and Sebastian Joseph Day. And I think it's going to be tougher to attack the creases, but we know how good, Chubb is when he's able to bounce outside. And that's where they've had issues. It's been a little bit of communication. It's been a little bit of, Asante Samuel's not the biggest corner. And if you can get him, he's vulnerable. Not Adderley, who plays high safety, took a bad angle last week, and that's where Dameon Pierce got that 75-yard run. It should have been about an 8-yard run. Instead, he kind of took a bad angle, and that's happened a couple times this year. So I think that's what they're working on cleaning up. The other thing they have going for him, too, is there's the ultimate eraser in Derwin James. Depending on I'm going to be interested to see how they play him because, they've played him everywhere. They've played him at rush edge. They played him at, that kind of money spot, that linebacker spot, slot corner, outside corner, high safety, box safety. So I'm almost wondering if instead of kind of putting a cap on the pass offense, they kind of put a stain on the run offense. And maybe Derwin plays a little bit higher than we're used to. And instead of rushing the passer, he's just kind of spying that back and making sure he almost keeps contained from a little bit of depth. So, Chubb can't have those explosive runs. Nick Chubb has got freaking 17 explosive runs this year. The Chargers as a team have 6. It's just stupid. Like, it's crazy. Some of the stats that the Browns have are so weird. Like, yards before contact is nuts. He's got 150 yards before contact. It's crazy.
The Browns have been pretty darn good at that. That is their bread and butter, and in some cases they do that so that they can keep an explosive offense off of the field. In this case, that led by Justin Herbert, a team that put 47 on the Browns 1 year ago. I wanted to ask you a little bit about Gerald Everett because it's hard not to notice him. He's off obviously to the best start of his career, 16 for 211 and 2 touchdowns. His career high is 478 yards. I mean, he might shatter that by the time we get to the halfway point of the season this season, but it feels like he is a real weapon. It kind of looks like a receiver out there for Justin Herbert.
No doubt. He loves his tight ends. Herbert does. Jared Cook had a good year last year. Like I said, Donald Parham is a USF or not USFL, an XFL guy that's turned into a legit. He's going to have a long NFL career, because I think of the trust that Herbert has placed in him, particularly in the red zone. I think if you look at the Chargers receiving core, there's characteristics there. When healthy, it's Keenan 6'3", Mike 6'3", Palmer 6'1", Everett 6'3", Parham 6'9". They like tall guys.
Yeah.
And you look last week and Everett just, Petrie, you felt bad for him almost. He got, somehow stuck with him in the red zone and, he just ate that bowl of cereal right off his helmet. So he's athletic. He can high point. He has had some issues with drops this year.
Yeah.
And of course, you can point to that pick 6 against Kansas City where he just kind of quit on the route and allowed the DB to jump in front of him. So there have been some ups and downs. I don't know if Herbert fully trusts him yet, but I think the best way to describe it is I think he's still in that feeling out process, but he certainly likes him an awful lot.
Want to ask you about the left tackle, Jamari Salyer. And, even on the Chargers website, he's listed as a guard, was a 6th-round pick, did play tackle, obviously, at Georgia. An incredible first game, didn't allow a pressure. Things probably will be different this week, though, with Myles Garrett. What have they thought of him, and how do they plan to maybe help him, if necessary, in this game with Myles?
Yeah, if Myles is playing lots, that's how they plan to help him. Jerry Hughes has obviously had a really good NFL career, but he's in his 13th season. And look, he's still very good. He came to that game with 4 sacks. And he was pretty much matched opposite Jamari the whole game, and he pitched a shutout. Not only no sacks, but not a single pressure. Jamari's good. Jamari's really, really strong. He's got a great anchor. So Myles is the kind of guy that he's probably going to struggle with just because of the explosiveness and the athleticism. And, that's why I think he projected as a guard.
Sure.
It's just him kind of exploding out of his stance and trying to get to those wide routes. If he gets on you, though, he's got you. That's something you saw from some really talented pass rushers in the SEC through 3 years, and that's what we saw last week. He's got long arms. Yes, he's short. He's probably 6'2" and change, but he's got darn near 34-inch arms. So that's good. That's going to help. I think you'll see a lot of the same, and I don't know what the status is for Clowney, but, that's probably going to be a big part of this. Is last week you saw him pretty much roll Herbert exclusively to the right, away from Jamari, just to help him out. I think you'll see a lot more of that. I think they ran a lot more, between the tackle runs against Houston, just kind of trying to crease the defense. I think you'll see that this week as well, just trying to slow them down a little bit. But yeah, it's going to be – look, it's a nightmare. It was a nightmare for Slater last year, and he played really well against Miles. Yeah. But I think it's still concerning. So, yeah, I should have a better answer than so, yeah. But that's, I think the reality of it, right?
That's what dealing with Myles Garrett does. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but look, he should have never been a 6th-round pick. That's the thing with Jamari. Like, it's just stupid that guy slipped to the 6th. I mean, he plays left tackle for Georgia in 2 SEC championship games and a national championship game. And when Alabama's crushing him through the interior, they move him to guard and he pitches a shutout. Okay, 6'2", I get it. But how does that guy last until the 6th round? And I think, I think they really found someone. I don't have any question about Jamari moving forward, the way he acquitted himself in that game, that he's, at the very least, a great swing, a heck of a swing guy, because he can play all, 4 positions on the offensive line.
Matt, have you talked to Brandon about coming home as a head coach? Has that been something that's been discussed out there yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, he loves throwing out points of interest and talking about, the last time he was at Cleveland Stadium. I don't remember the 2 high school teams he mentioned yesterday, but he was like, state championship game. I was, scouting for a recruit, and yeah, he's got a bounce in his step. He's excited. He loves Ohio. As I think a lot of people that are from Ohio feel, they're very proud of that state. Why not? It's a great football state. It's produced a ton of great football brains, that have found their way into front offices and coaching, whether they are, born and raised there or find their way at, one of those colleges, kind of the lower level colleges that seem to produce such good coaches. So, yeah, he's talked about it. Like I said, I wish I could share the 2 high school teams that he mentioned, because I'm sure you'd get a kick out of it. But that's usually when he does that, he's kind of excited about something, and it was pretty funny. I'm trying to dig it up right. It was really it's really a funny little drop. Here we go. Let's see. Where is it? Here we go. Growing up in Perry, Ohio, playing this. Let's see. I know that lake. It's a great venue. Yeah, he was jacked. I was trying to. Here we go. Last time I was at that stadium, you guys will love this. Here it is. The last time I was at this stadium, I was at the Holy War. Ignatius versus St. Ed's. Yep. So there you go.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, that's great. We look forward to seeing him and you here on Sunday, and thanks for your time today, Matt.
Yeah, you got it. Look forward to seeing you guys.
All right, that's Matt Money Smith joining us on the Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea Hotline, the official sponsor of the Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. Let me just for this resume. So Brandon Staley's the defensive coordinator at John Carroll in 2016.
Yeah. And he became the head coach of the Chargers in 2021.
I mean, this is the most improbable. There's not even, this isn't Kyle or McVay where there's a family lineage or there's something. Sure. This is, this pattern is unbelievable. So he plays at Dayton, then he goes to Mercyhurst and finishes his playing career in 2005. Obviously, he was a standout at Perry. And then it's Northern Illinois grad assistant for 3 seasons, St. Thomas for a season, Hutchinson for, I assume that's a junior college in Kansas, guessing. Then he gets to Tennessee in 2012, so you impress somebody. Goes to John Carroll in 2013 as defensive coordinator, James Madison in defensive coordinator in 2014. That was probably with Everett Withers, who was the defensive coach at Ohio State, who went there as a head. I bet he went there around that same time. Then that's 1 year. Then John Carroll, 15-16, somehow lands with the Bears in 17. And that flips it. So
we talked about this last year because we were trying to figure out how
what is the connection other than John Carroll.
There was someone with the Bears that had done some work with him and saw something in him and said, let's bring him in here and find a spot on the coaching staff for him.
Bears 17-18, Broncos outside linebacker coach 19, defensive coordinator Rams 20, Chargers head coach 21. I mean, the difference between
it's crazy.
A defensive coordinator, secondary coach at John Carroll, which is a great program and has really become a cradle. There's so many guys connected to the NFL that went to John Carroll. But nevertheless, in 2016 to 5 years later, you're coaching the Chargers.
It's an incredible rise.
He's 39.
Yeah, younger than us, man.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? This?
I don't have a 5-year run like that.
No. Who does?
I mean, I've had 5-year runs, but not
like
exactly
that.
on the professional level.
Nor positive.
Yeah.
A lot of peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
Just a solid ascent out of him. So that's exciting to have him back. And I can see how he'd be excited about it coming back in here. Less excited to play this offense, which is quite frankly pretty
it's a full day's work.
Pretty terrifying.
Yep.
We'll get into some matchup stuff coming up next. We've got a game. We've got a little fantasy stardom or sit 'em today as well. We'll do the matchups, the offense, the defense.
Guess the lines.
Jordan Elliott.
Oh yeah, guess the lines. Oh, Jordan Elliott's coming up next.
Yes.
All right, Jordan Elliott's coming up next. We've got the matchups. We've got guess the lines.
Lots.
Lot coming up here in the
coming.
final hour. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Welcome back to Cleveland Browns Daily. Very happy to be joined now by Browns defensive tackle Jordan Elliott. And Jordan, let's start with the good. First career solo sack in that game. Played basically every down out there for you. What was that like, and then how gratifying was it to get that sack off that twist?
It's a blessing. It's one of those things. You work hard for in practice. Before it actually come in the game, it's exciting. So.
It seemed like you guys knew that without Miles and without Jadeveon and without Taven, you're going to have to, manufacture pressure. It felt like there were a lot more stunts, a lot more twists than I'm used to seeing, and it felt like they worked.
Right. Yeah. When you got guys like Miles and JD, you want to let them just do their thing on the outside. With them being gone, it did allow us to run more stunts and more games, just working more as a unit. You know what I mean? As a whole unit. So it was cool to just be out there with them guys.
Year 3 for you, taking on a much more prominent role than you had the first 2. What's the biggest change for you, and what do you credit your success with?
Really just working, depending on my teammates, just trusting each other. I think that's, the biggest thing in this game, just knowing that, we all have a job to do.
You got married. I know that you've talked about this a little bit, but we haven't got a chance to talk about it, how that's kind of changed you, your focus, and having that support system, your wife being so supportive of you, putting in the time here to get your body where you want it, to get where you want on the tape, and to be able to make these leaps.
Right. No, yeah, definitely. Marriage is it's a beautiful thing, especially when you got the right person around you, just someone that's, there for your best interests at heart, and, just understanding it's a team effort. So, I'm thankful for that.
And I see you smile when you say that. I know you're thankful for it. It is a beautiful thing. You're exactly right. All right, let's talk about what you guys learned from this game against Atlanta, because it was almost in some ways 2 games, right? In the second and third quarters, they have 11 yards in a half of football, and they're a darn good offense. And then they were able to kind of get the ground game going. What did you see on the tape, and what do you guys take away from that?
Really just executing and being consistent with our execution. They made some adjustments, and at the end of the day, we just got to execute and play off of those adjustments and adjust ourselves, which, we try to do. But it's one of those things where, we got to be prepared for when the team changes their game plan. And it's all it is, too. We just got to be prepared for it, have a backup plan, make sure that we are fitting our gaps and just, doing things we need to do.
Was it hard being out there and being the elder statesman of the defensive line in that game? And I know Isaac's been around the league, but certainly in this system, you're the only one that's been there 3 years. A lot of those guys had never started a game. None of them had sacks. That was more snaps than they played at any point in the NFL. Was that kind of obviously a big change, but when you kind of looked around, you're like, oh man, this is a lot different.
Oh yeah, time flies. Like, it just seemed like just yesterday I was just a rookie, so just being considered one of the older guys, it is a different perspective. But in the NFL, we just got to do our job, and no matter if you're a rookie, second year, whatever, like, we got to make sure that we're ready and prepared. So that's the biggest thing, just taking away from that game.
What have you learned, if anything, from Taven Bryan coming over, a former first-round pick who's been in the league for a while?
TB is an explosive guy. If anything, just learning from him is just, like I said kind of earlier, just we all got to play off each other. We are brothers at the end of the day, and we really got to buy into that so that, it shows up on the field.
All right, last time with the Chargers, it was a shootout, an absolute 89 combined points in that one, the highest scoring game in the NFL a year ago. They come in number 1 passing offense in the league. They've got a good running back in Austin Eckler. I'm sure you guys have kind of turned the page already to them. What do you see from this offense, and what do we have to do to try to slow them down?
Like you said, the number 1 passing offense, so just being prepared for checkdowns, being prepared for quick passes, and really just executing this game plan. We have a good game plan. We're going to
1 minute.
Make sure that, we just honor the details this weekend. Just mentally prepared, whatever, they throw at us. That's all it is.
Last one, we look at this year, and it's been watching this defense. You guys have been dominant at times. Then the first 3 quarters, you guys are top by the 6th defense in the NFL, period. Fourth quarter is a problem, and I know it's something you guys want to clean up. What kind of discussion around that, and what do you guys have to do to maintain what you're doing? Really,
30.
Really, just whole 60 minutes, just executing. Like I said earlier, just teams are going to make adjustments, and we just have to be prepared for those adjustments. It's coming along. Just the process. Every game, every play, is a chance for us to learn and take from it. So, we just got to learn those things and implement them and play a whole 60 minutes regardless of what the goal is.
Congrats on your first solo sack. Like to see a lot more even this Sunday against Justin Herbert, and best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing quite like tailgating touchdowns and Twisted Tea. It tastes just like real iced tea. You know why? Because it's made with real brewed tea. Cool, refreshing, and a 5% kick of alcohol. It's thirst down and gold. Twisted Tea, hard tea. Keep it twisted. We will get into the matchups coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at Renew Home Exteriors, offering high-performance products that are durable, long-lasting, cost and energy saving to transform the look and efficiency of your home. Don't go into winter with the concerns about your roof. With Renew Home Exteriors, get a new roof installed in 7 to 10 days for no money down and payments as low as $96 a month. Plus, receive free gutter guards with your roof purchase. Those are awesome. Beautify your home with premium siding and roofing products at lower prices with Renew Home Exteriors. Visit renewestimate.com. They are the best in the business. Here is AVP at the podium.
It really seemed like the screen
You're done.
very good for you guys. Struggled last week. Was there a common theme with it? Is it just how Atlanta played it?
It's just one of those days. You know, we screen game is a big part of what we do, and we did not execute. There was a lot of potential yardage out there had we executed, but we have to. That was an area of emphasis for us, is just being better in the screen game.
Put extra emphasis on the red zone in a week like this? I mean, is there anything more that you can do than you were doing before to get that rolling?
Really just execute. We didn't execute well down there. That was disappointing. We targeted that as an area where we wanted to be efficient and score touchdowns in the red zone. First drive, we got right down there and came away with no points. So definitely a target for us moving forward. We got to execute better down there.
You go with the hurry up there on that third one. I mean, I'm assuming that's something you work on all week. Why did you think that would be effective in this situation?
Anytime you jump the ball and go, you often catch defenses off guard or misaligned or, in a hurry to get set and not playing their best techniques. So it's been successful for us many times. Unfortunately, that one it was not.
What do you like Farrell or Brown? Do you think he could help you this week?
We'll see. We'll see where he's at by the end of the week. Getting here really today for the first time, having some meetings last night. He's a guy that understands his role, what he's going to do, where he's going to play in our system. And I think we can make it easy for him where he could contribute on Sunday, but it's too early to tell right now. But liked him when he was here last, and impressive with his ability to block in the run game. He gives us a ability to have a true big Y in there that can help you in the run game and still contribute in the pass game.
What's the reality of going with an unconventional play so early in the game with the flip flicker, the reverse tight end play? It's so early in the game like last week.
Just keeping everybody off guard, really. The screen play that we fumbled on there was something we saw early in the week, that the way they drop on their play actions, we might have a chance to have some space in the field, and we did. Just unfortunately, we put the ball on the ground. The reverse was a hit or miss play. Either it's an explosive or, hopefully you get back to the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, we took a TFL on that play. But, always staying multiple and versatile and using our personnel to the best of our abilities.
James do for their defense, and how much do you have to account for him literally every?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that you definitely have to be aware of, both in the run game, the pass game, the pressure game when he does blitz. We need to treat him like he's a linebacker type. He's not a DB in our minds. And so we have plans for him, obviously. In the run game, it's important to make sure you understand where he is and who has him in the scheme. So he's a guy early on that we've isolated as, hey, we need to make sure we know where number 3 is at all times.
With a little extra chipping help on Khalil Mack and give him some extra attention.
Yeah, I mean, he is a difference maker in the pass game. I don't think it'd be fair to ask any tackle to block him one-on-one for a full game, so there will be times when we, maybe potentially chip on his side or both sides. Or it's nothing different from many of our plans. But, we feel good about our matchups. We like our tackles, but we always look to help.
How do they adjust defensively, with Joey out, to try to compensate for that?
How have they?
Yeah.
Van Noy's been more of an edge rusher than in the past, and he gets on the edge. He played in the box a little bit. Now he's probably going to be more on the edge in that regard. Rough 94 will be out there on the edge as well. So they're trying to find people to replace that guy. But obviously he is a dominant player as well. So we'll be ready for whoever they put out there on the edge. But it favors us to not have Bosa in there, because to have those two edges would be a long game.
Are you cool with throwing it 2nd and 1 in the one that Wyatt got the holding on, and why is that an okay thing to do there? I guess if it works.
Felt really good about the call at the time. Had repped that play for multiple weeks leading up to that game, and it was ready to come off the call sheet. Felt good about it, and they gave us an unscouted look that we had not seen. ideally there in that situation, you like to just throw it away, get the ball out of your hands. Unfortunately, we take a holding penalty, and it backs us up. And that one was tough. But the call was great. Just the look wasn't what we expected.
Jacoby makes it sound like he's so good at quarterback sneaks because he's big and tall. Is it that simple?
Big and tall and heavy.
1 minute.
Guys have a knack for doing it. Tom's a guy, Brady, that he watched do it, and I think he learned a lot from Tom. He has the size and the strength to push a pocket. It's a really good call. The percentages of getting the first down on a quarterback sneak are extremely high. So playing percentages, it's a very safe call for us. Do we want to live in that all the time? And obviously we need some tendency breakers here or there, but we feel like if we call the sneak, we have a real high percentage chance of picking it up with his
30
and our line up front.
Acknowledged and owned a lot of things from that game, including that he said he did something wrong on the 4th and 3 from the 4, and then he missed Amari, and then he blamed himself for not going to the right place with the on the pick. How do you expect him to bounce back? What have you seen from him this week, just from mindset?
I think the first thing's
10.
He's not hiding from anything. He understands he's got to play better in those situations, the ones you mentioned, and I know he will moving forward. I don't ever worry about it.
You're up.
All right, there's your offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt. Time for the matchup, our offense versus the Chargers defense, and for that we bring in Dr. Z.
Oh, baby. All right, Browns offense, Chargers defense. Let's give you quickly the tail of the tape. Browns, number 4 total offense in the NFL.
Who would have had that? Who has that?
But he should give up play calling, Stefanski. You're lost.
You have no idea what you're doing.
You don't know what you're doing.
Hot seat.
Hot seat. Number 4 offense in the NFL. Number 6 scoring offense in the NFL with a backup quarterback.
That's right.
Jacoby is our starter, but he is on our depth chart, our backup quarterback.
We're not getting really much of anything out of any receiver other than Amari Cooper and the last couple of weeks, Chief.
Well, we've gotten
DPJ's been fine, but you're not getting anything deep. You're not getting.
Here's one for you.
You're 4th. But
here's one for you.
DPJ
and Amari Cooper have not had 20 yards receiving together in the same game yet. How about that? All right, number 6 in scoring offense, the number 2 rushing offense in the NFL, averaging just under.
To be based in some fact.
No, they don't. Not anymore. 25th passing offense. We are the 5th best offense in the league on third down. We are 2nd in terms of fewest sacks allowed. We are 4th in terms of fewest turnovers created. 15th in the red zone. 4th in big plays. I'll say that again. We are 4th in big plays. We are number 1 in the league in terms of explosive runs with 25. We are 14th in yards per play. Number 8 in turnover differential. And then when you go back into, and this is a fun stat for me, but in terms of time of possession, for the year, we're at 35-38, number 1 in the NFL. So that's our offense. Their defense, 20th total, 30th scoring, 14th against the rush, 17th against the pass, 21st on third down, so not a great third down defense. They do get after the quarterback. They've got 11 sacks, but 6 came in week 1 against the Raiders, 4 last week. So feast or famine that. They have 1 sack in the 2 games they lost, 10 sacks in the 2 games they've won. 20th in takeaways, 15th in the red zone, 8th in terms of not allowing big plays, so good there. 23rd in yards per play. So not a great defense, first of all. Who are the stars up front? You've got Khalil Mack, 3rd in the NFL with 5 sacks. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro for his career, 81.5 sacks, 19 strip sacks, which is 2nd among active players. They brought in Sebastian Joseph Day. We heard Matt Money Smith say that, the Super Bowl champ in 21 with the Rams. By the way, there are a lot of guys, as I was doing this, that Brandon Staley, who was a 1-year defensive coordinator with the Rams, brought in to join this football team. Sebastian Joseph Day was with the Rams. Morgan Fox was with the Rams, so that's 2 of them, new guys on the defensive line alone. Fox this year, by the way, 101.5 sacks, which is 2nd on the team, so he's a new player there as well. They brought in Derek Tuska, who was with the Steelers last year. They brought in Troy Reeder, another former Ram who's a special teams ace for them as well. But up front, it's all about Khalil Mack. They've got Austin Johnson, Sebastian Joseph Day, Morgan Fox, Jerry Tillery that'll fill in. Their linebacking core, Drew Tranquill former fourth-round pick out of Notre Dame, leads the team with 33 tackles, got his first interception of his career week 1, which was against the Las Vegas Raiders. It was the first of his career. New full-time starter there. Kenneth Murray was their first rounder in 2020. He's been bad in coverage, though. That's somebody I like to see the Browns attack. Back end, they're good. Asante Samuel Jr., who had 2 picks as a rookie, already has 1 pick and 4 passes defense this year. They brought in Bryce Callahan, an undrafted free agent who's been in the league, though, now for 8 years as a nickel. He leads the team with 2 picks. You brought in J.C. Jackson, the Pro Bowler in 2021 with New England, who has 17 picks the last 2 seasons. 20 and 21.
Ridiculous.
17 picks. He's got 25 interceptions since coming in the league in 2018. That's the most in the NFL. Last year, he had 8 picks, a touchdown, and led the league with 23 passes defense, and New England just let him walk, which is bonkers to me. Bill maybe doesn't get it. He's only played 2 games, though, coming off of ankle surgery late in August. They've got Nasir Adderley, who's a 3-year starter at free safety. He had an interception against Houston last week. And then there's Derwin James, Pro Football Focus's number 5 overall safety, 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time first-team All-Pro. So far, he's got 30 tackles this year, a sack, 2 quarterback hits, 2 tackles for loss, 3 passes defensed, 5 pressures. He's a great blitzer, great in coverage. Last year against us, he had 16 tackles, a forced fumble, a sack. He's somebody I can tell you, Kevin Stefanski, after talking to him, they want to know where number 3 is at all times. So that's the D. Here's what they do schematically. They're going to play man 1 is the coverage they play the most, 24%. Cover 3 second at 22%. They play a lot of cover 6, relatively speaking, in the league, 11.4%, and some cover 3 seam, which is where the inside guys will take seam routes, third most in the league there. They've got 11 sacks, as I said, tied for 6th in the NFL, but they had 6 sacks versus Vegas, 4 versus Houston, only 1 against Kansas City and Jacksonville combined when they lost. They blitz a lot, 32%, 10th most in the league, on passes only. All plays they blitz 35%, third most, and against runs, 40%. 40% run blitzing team. That is highest in the NFL. They'll play nickel or dime about 80% of the time. So they play light, but they like to stack the box. However, they're not good. They allow the most rushing yards and yards per carry in the NFL with a stacked box. Also, outside runs, that's what we do really well. The Chargers are the worst. They allow 7.8 yards a carry. The Browns are the best. This year, 81% of Nick Chubb's yards have been on outside runs. He's got 394 yards and 4 touchdowns on outside runs, most in the NFL. And then the last one, we have got to protect the football. Since 2021, the Chargers, 14 strip sacks. That is first in the NFL. 23 forced fumbles, third in the NFL. So we got to be careful with that. And how about this? Who's ready to see this? The greatest battle. The Chargers, 27% conversions allowed on 3rd and 1 or 2 this year, best in the NFL, against the sneak king, 8 for 8, Jacoby Brissett. But
give me
good corners, good pass rusher in Khalil Mack. Drew Tranquill flies around the football, and then they have the ultimate chess piece in Derwin James.
Can you give me those Jackson interception numbers again?
He's got 17 picks in the last 2 years alone.
So is that 21 in this year? Or is
20
it
and 21.
So
he only played 2 games so far this year because he had the ankle surgery. None this year.
17 in 20 and 21 alone. So let's do a little guess the stats with you. How many do you think our team has as a team all of last year and through the first 4 games of this year?
So Denzel and John Johnson tied for the team lead with 3 each last year. Greedy, I think, had 2, so that's 8. There's probably a Malcolm Smith one in there or something else that I'm thinking about. So we're probably at, I want to say, 11 last year.
We were at 13.
13, okay. Yeah. And then the year before.
No, this year. And then this year we've had 2.
And then
so we've had a total of 15 in 21 games.
21 games.
And he had 17 in 2 seasons.
That's right.
That's an incredible rate.
Yeah. He's only been in the league for 4 years, and he has 25 picks.
That's unbelievable.
But the last 2 years, 9 and then followed up a 9er with an 8er. Like, that's what's hard to me is how do you have 9 picks and they're still like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll throw in his
Throw it over that way.
And he had 23 passes defense.
And the Patriots are like, yeah.
They didn't want to pay him.
Crazy. When a medical mistake causes you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll do a little guess the lines coming up, some fantasy football advice coming up next as well. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Get into First Energy Stadium quicker on game days with Express Access presented by Root Insurance. Enroll for free today to enter through exclusive lanes at each gate. Plus, each game you use Express Access at First Energy Stadium will be automatically entered for a chance to win a Browns autographed item. Go to the Tickets tab in the Browns mobile app to learn more. We're a month into fantasy. Not on. Hit it. Now, we're a month into fantasy. Where are you? Because I gave you my phone yesterday. It was magic. I gave you your phone. You made like 6 transactions in a minute.
I know the one league had limits, though. I was like, don't
limit
me.
Well, that was the kids' league. That's silly.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah, they had a limit of transactions, and so that we're actually kind of screwed on defense a little bit. We won't get into the particulars of that.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to go get the Vikes. I wasn't done yet.
Yeah, you weren't all the way done yet. Where are you on? Because I know that you cut Sky Moore, who's a guy that we talked about in the lead up that we liked and draft, but he's off to a terribly slow start. Where are you on stashing a guy, hoping that it turns into something? Like, where's the cutoff?
All right, so, like,
date?
Sky Moore played the most snaps that he's played.
Yeah,
the most
it's trending.
Targets. It's trending good. But in that particular league, like, there are people of consequence on the waiver wire, which would not be – like, if you're in a normal 12-team league where people are everybody's invested in fantasy football, those people, like – you'd keep Sky Moore because there probably isn't somebody with more potential on the waiver wire just sitting there. You know what I mean? But in a case where you could pick up the number 12 fantasy receiver off the waiver wire, you pick him up for Sky Moore.
Yeah. So that's the tricky part.
That's the tricky part. But for the most part, you're looking for trends. Like right now, Breece Hall, every week his utilization's going up. Mm-hmm. Like they just eased him into being the every down back. But by the second half of the season, provided that he stays healthy, he's going to be one of those real bell cows and is going to win fantasy leagues. Like Breece Hall is a guy, if you can trade for him right now, I would. If you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I would trade him right now. He still doesn't play a ton. He's totally touchdown dependent. He's number 5 fantasy back right now. So you sell him to somebody and try to get a Breece Hall back. Or it's hard to trade a running back for a running back. You usually probably trade a running back for a receiver, but those are the kind of moves that you want to be making.
All right, I like it. Who do you like for us this weekend, fantasy-wise, other than the obvious?
I mean, the obvious, Nick Chubb, you start. Look, last time we played against them, Nick Chubb, 161 rushing, a touchdown, 1 reception, 9 yards. Kareem, 12 for 61 and 2 touchdowns on the ground, 5 for 28 combined. They had, this is for your over-unders, last year combined, 39 touches, 259 total yards, 3 total touchdowns last time. Yep. You start the Chief. He had a career high 149. He's had back-to-back very good games for the Browns. 2 weeks ago, it was 9 for 89 and a touchdown against Pittsburgh. Last week, 5 for 73. He's going. He's 5th among all tight ends with 18 catches. You start him. You keep Cooper in your lineup as well, and then that's probably where I'd leave it.
All right, are you ready? A little guess the lines.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
All right, here we go. Tonight's game: Colts at Denver for the good doctor. The Colts at Denver.
Colts at Denver. They still for some reason I feel like.
What was my rule? Within a point and a half, I give it to you.
Within a point.
A point, I give it to you.
Yep,
all right.
Yep. I'm gonna say Denver -2.
Denver -3. You got it.
Got it.
Chargers at Browns. Do you know this one?
I thought it was Chargers -3. So if it's moved from that, that's what it was at the beginning of the week.
It's -2.5.
Okay.
So it's gone down.
Okay.
Bengals, I'll give you that one. Bengals at Baltimore. Sunday Night Football. It's a goodie.
Buffalo was a 3-point favorite in Baltimore last week. On a neutral field, I feel like they would be at least a 3-point favorite over the Bengals. Thus, Ravens -1.
Ravens -3.
What?
Yeah, Ravens -3. You did not get that one. Giants versus Packers. This is tricky. It's in Vegas, or it's in London. It's London. By the way, that's why I think Aaron Rodgers did the haircut, Peaky Blinders. He's on with that Peaky Blinders style haircut.
Pack -6.
Didn't get it. Packers -8. It's too much for a team that struggled like they've struggled. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Kenny Pickett, first game.
Buffalo -14.
Nailed it. Incredible job out of you.
Let's go. I was trying to think of the number that they would incentivize me. The guy threw 3 picks last week.
Yeah.
It's the Bills.
Yeah. 14 is a lot.
It's a big number, but that felt like a 2-touchdown.
Yep. Bears at Vikings.
Minnesota -9.
-7.5.
What?
Not nearly enough.
What?
I agree. Lions at Patriots.
Oh, my God. Patriots -1.
-3.
What?
Same.
The Lions should be favored.
Agreed. Seattle at New Orleans.
What?
That's right. You got to be able to adjust. Keep it moving. You get one wrong, just like
No,
I tell our young
yep,
quarterbacks.
that's right.
You throw
Like
a
it,
bad
yeah.
pass, get
Short-term
back in the
memory.
huddle, get
Short-term
right back
memory.
at
All
it.
Seattle at New Orleans.
At New Orleans. At New Orleans.
God, these are some weird games this week.
This is a strange one.
New Orleans -2.
New Orleans -5.5.
What are we doing with these lines?
I don't know. Dolphins at Jets. 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 No Tua.
Miami -4.
Miami -3.5. You got it. Falcons at Bucks. Dirty Birds at the soon-to-be divorced Brady and the Bucks.
-11.5.
-9.5. Titans at Commies.
Tennessee -5.
Tennessee -1.5.
What?
Texans at Jaguars.
Jags -7.
Nailed it. On the money. 49ers.
That should count like as a 1.5.
I don't have a problem with that. 49ers at Carolina.
Niners -7.
Got it. -6.5. Dallas at Ramit.
Rams -4.
-5.5.
What? I thought I was going higher.
I thought, yeah.
I thought it was going to be
I don't understand
-2.
that.
I went to 4.
How
I
are they
going to
protect him? Parsons is going to kill him. They can't block
Parsons
anything.
and Lawrence?
They're going to kill him. Philly at Arizona.
Philly -6.
Got it. -5. Okay. Raiders at KC.
KC -8.
Got it. -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 and 8. Good
Well,
job
no,
of you.
we
Good
did
job of
do.
you.
We didn't do.
No, we did them all.
What about tonight? Do we do tonight?
We did it.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, you nailed it.
8,
It was 3.
8 and 8. I feel like that's pretty good.
It's a win. You're guessing lines within a point. Are you kidding? It's a total win out of you. And there's some hinky lines out there.
Dude, New Orleans -5.
It's crazy.
And a half?
Yeah, I don't understand. That one's really tough for me.
That
to wrap
one
my
was
head
crazy.
around.
What else was crazy?
New England.
What was it? Give me that one again.
New England -3
against Seattle. Against who?
Detroit. Yeah.
What?
I know it. Yep, that's a tough one. Packers -8. Baltimore -3. There's some tricky ones out there for you, kids.
Baltimore -3.
Yeah, Browns fans, skip the chore of laundry. Enjoy life, not laundry. Tide Cleaners is offering 30% off dry cleaning for the month of October. Visit thetidecleaners.com to find the closest location to you. Mention promo code Browns and be entered to win 4 VIP Browns tickets for an upcoming home game. Some exclusions may apply on that. Coming up next, the matchup on the defensive side. It's a big challenge for Joe Woods. You'll hear from him coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Bath Authority could give you the bathroom of your dreams, kids, and they can do it for you in about a day. Your current bath goes from what it is to a spa-like experience. They can do it for you. They are the best. The Bath Authority can do it for you and make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler. They are experts. They're factory-trained installers. You give them a call now. You get $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality. An enormous selection of bath projects. They're all made here in America. You change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding in about a day. Superior products and expert installers at thebathauthority.com at 216-220-8399. And now let's go to the podium. Defensive coordinator Joe Woods.
You're done.
I thought we had guys that were ready, they were capable of stepping up with Miles being out. But, with the attention that Miles gets, it makes things a little different.
And not to give away our gameplay, does it change a lot, though, when Miles isn't out there for you as a play call, your scheme, all that?
I try not to let it be that way, just because I just want our scheme to be our scheme. There's just different things offenses will do when he's out there.
What was it like to get him on the field again, and just what kind of boost did it give everybody?
Yeah, it was definitely good to see him out there. Everybody was excited, and for me, I'm just happy he's healthy. There wasn't something serious with the accident.
For this game?
I think so.
Make you talk to us. It's kind of day-to-day still?
Yeah, he's day-to-day. We'll see what happens. He's moving around a little bit. I hope he makes it, but we'll see.
What can you take over from last year facing this same offense to this year?
That the game is never over. That was a very tough game just because the first half, I thought we played really well, and then we gave that big explosive, just had something in, it didn't work out. And then in the second half, it was wild. It was a wild game, but I don't want it to be that way. I hope it's not that way, but you have to play for 60 minutes.
You were talking about how not having Miles, potentially changes the way, teams will attack you. And then on the other side of the ball for them, if they don't have Allen at receiver, how does that affect what they're able to do?
I think they're being creative with how they're moving their receivers around. So I think they're trying to get production from other receivers in different ways. But I've coached against him when I was at Denver, and he's definitely a big playmaker for him. Definitely moves the chains. But you can see they're trying to do things to, cover up for that.
So you guys, when they talk about that 42-yard pass play, I've described it as a technique issue. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was really our base defense. It was play action. And what happens when you run the ball that many times, and you're thinking run. You're thinking the same thing's going to happen, but you have to read your keys, execute your responsibilities, and we weren't clean on that play, and that's how we got hit.
The fourth quarter's been your toughest for your unit.
What's different that you're seeing on film between the first three quarters and that final quarter?
It's tough. You just, for us, and I do the same thing. I know I say the same thing to you guys every week, but I always go after the game, we do the evaluation, address our goals, talk about what we did well, areas that we need to improve. And it's going to happen every game. It's the NFL, there's going to be problems. But for us with that game, we made adjustments at halftime, and we got off the field, I think 12 plays the first three series with a turnover. So you're feeling great about the adjustments you made. Then we got in the fourth quarter, and it's just like when the Jets, they came out and they said, we're just chipping everybody. And this all the time. Then these guys just said, hey, we're going to run the ball. So I don't know if our adjustments made them do that, but they just said, hey, we're going to run it. And they had success and moved the ball down the field. So I don't know what it is. Probably a little bit of everything. And this is a long answer. It's probably a little bit of everything. But we're just going to continue to address what we're trying to do defensively and do it cleanly.
He's able to get back this week.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's good to see him out there on the field. He was fired up. That's what I told everybody. He got fresh legs. He was running around. But I think in his situation, you want to ease him back in. It's different going out there in practice. You can kind of control your tempo, your speed. But when you're in a game situation, you're going full go. So I think we're going to ease him back in, and then, medically we'll make a decision when we bring him back.
Are you seeing Justin Herbert significantly limited at all by his injury? What are you expecting from him, and what is he doing well?
No, he's a really good quarterback. He has the size. He has the arm strength. He sees the field well. They're number one passing offense, and it's because of him and the players that they have. I know he has the injury, but he's still moving around in the pocket. You still see the bootlegs and things of that nature. But he looks normal. I think he's probably trying, maybe if he was going to run it and try to get an extra 5 yards, he's
1 minute.
But he looks like the same guy.
Lights up a lot of secondaries. He's just such a young player.
Yeah.
Yet he's so prolific. Just how do you prepare your guys for what they're about to get from him?
This league's about matchups, in my opinion. And every week, it's last week it was the tight end and the receiver. This week, it's the quarterback and their skill players they have. And I just have confidence in the guys we have. I just feel like if we go out, we execute, and we play our techniques, I feel like we can cover anybody in the league.
30.
Challenge the Austin Eckler presents. Is it similar to what you saw to McCaffrey in the first game?
Yeah, he's a very good back, and he's a good back as a runner, and he's a good back, coming out of the backfield as a receiver. Right now, I think he's their leader
10.
in terms of catches by about nine receptions. So he's definitely a challenge, and we're going to have to be ready for him. Whoever.
You're up.
All right, there you go. There's Joe Woods at the podium. Time to have a little fun with this matchup. They're real good. And for that matchup, our defense versus this Chargers offense, brought to you by Evolve Technology. Evolve Technology powers best-in-class security for the Cleveland Browns. Let's go to Dr. Z.
Yeah, he's like shaking his head at me. I don't know if
I can't hear either.
I don't know if it's not me being tomfoolery, Gibbe. Like sometimes you hit it when it's on and it doesn't make any sound, and then I have to.
We hit this one. He had it yesterday with your audio.
Yeah,
where it was popping in and out.
Yeah, I believe there was a bad headphone connector we have replaced.
All right, very good.
Very good. All right, here we go. Listen, folks, like our offense, they're good. They are the number 7 total offense. They are the 12th scoring offense. Last in rushing, but where are they good? First in passing, first in sacks allowed, 5th in turnovers, 11th in third downs, 15th in the red zone. Tied for 22nd in big plays. That is shocking to me because they throw the ball down the field as well as anybody. 12th in yards per play. And so who do we have to deal with here with their offense? Well, it stops with Justin Herbert. Only been sacked 4 times, fewest in the NFL. He was, of course, the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2020. Leads the NFL 1,250 passing yards, 312.5 a game, 67% completions, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks, 102.2 rating. Career, he's got 8 rushing touchdowns, but he only has 4 rushing yards all year, probably because he has fractured rib cartilage, suffered in Week 2 against Kansas City. Week 4, though, he finally felt better. The Pro Bowler last year went 69%, 342 touchdowns, no picks in the win over Houston. He looked very, very good. Who does he throw the football to? Well, you heard right there, Austin Eckler. He leads the Chargers with 27 catches on the year for the season, 45 rushes, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, both scored last week. 27 catches, 188 yards, and 1 touchdown, also scored last week. In 2021, he had 20 touchdowns, did Austin Eckler. 20 touchdowns. He had 911 yards rushing, 12 rushing touchdowns. He had 647 receiving and 8 receiving touchdowns. So he is a dual threat. In fact, he is 2 rushing touchdowns away from becoming only the 8th player in NFL history with 25 rushing and 25 receiving touchdowns for a career. Mike Williams leads the Chargers with 258 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's doing that on 18 catches this year, coming off a career year last year, 76, 1,146, and 9 touchdowns. How about this, too? He's got 4 straight games of 100 yards or more on the road. If he gets 100 versus the Browns, that would be 5th straight, which would be tied for the 5th longest streak in NFL history. Last year against us, by the way, in case you're wondering, Herbert, 389 and 4 touchdowns passing plus a rushing touchdown. Eckler, 66 rush yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 53 receiving, and a receiving touchdown. Mike Williams, 165 and 2 touchdowns receiving. That was just last year. Yeah, they're pretty good. So they're fun. So those are the big three: Herbert, Williams, and then Austin Eckler. Now, if Keenan Allen does play, he led the team last year with 106 catches, 1,138 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's been a 5-time Pro Bowler every year since 2017, and he has had 1,000 yards in 4 of the last 5 seasons. They also have a new weapon. Gerald Everett, who I mentioned earlier, the tight end off to the best start of his career, 16 catches, 211 yards, 2 touchdowns. Last week he had 5 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown versus Houston. He's second on the team in yards, tied for first in touchdowns. Josh Palmer's got a touchdown on the season, and as does DeAndre Carter. So those are some of the other wide receivers in their stable. Their line, they've got Corey Linsley at center as a Pro Bowler, and then first-rounder Zion Johnson plays right guard. He's allowed 9 pressures this season, 7 pressures in the last 2 weeks alone. Matt Filer's the weak link there. He joined the Chargers in 21, started every game last year. 60 career starts, but this year he's allowed a sack and a team-high 15 pressures. Jamari Salyer, we just talked about him. Their 6th-rounder out of Georgia. Didn't allow a pressure last week against Houston. We'll see how he does against Myles Garrett, though. They hit big plays since 2020. Herbert, 49 completions of 40 or more yards.
Jeez.
Since 2020. That's the most in the NFL. 6 completions.
Unbelievable.
That is an unbelievable set. 6 completions of 50 or more yards in the air, which is the most in the NFL. We've got Mike Williams has 10 of those catches of 40 or more yards since 2021, which is most in the league. He's coming off a game with 120 last week. Here's the thing about Herbert as well, another crazy streak. If he throws for 300 yards, it'll be his 20th career game with 300, most ever in somebody's first 3 seasons. Would also be his 8th straight game of more than 300 yards passing on the road. The last time that happened, Rich Gannon, 2001-2002, when he was the MVP of the league, and the Raiders won the Super Bowl. So they can sling it. They have struggled to run the football so far this year, but they can sling it, and they are dangerous. And last year, as we know, they made us pay on some busted coverages to Mike Williams, and we are going to have to be about our business because they are very good. The good news is we will have Myles Garrett back. It looks like we will have Taven Bryan back, and as we talked about earlier, the arrow is pointing at least in the right direction, although it's far from sure that we would have Jadeveon Clowney back for the Browns as well.
All of those would be incredibly helpful. When Bernie compared him to Marino yesterday, that's the guy that to me, I mean, just from arm delivery, talent, Marino is a little lower in it, but it's a lot. They're the similar build, similar size, young Marino. Marino was ridiculous.
Better athlete.
This one?
Yeah.
I think we remember old Marino. I don't know what young Marino was in comparison. I mean, this kid's a tremendous athlete, but just the way the ball spins off his hand, there's a lot of similarities to it.
I was thinking of a bigger Elway. Because he can run, he kind of throws
that flat.
He's
not as bulky, though. Elway was.
That was maybe
more
his gear, though. That was weird looking gear. I mean, this is a big dude.
No, for sure.
He's 6'6", 240.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Browns fans, catch the Kevin Stefanski Show with Z and Gerard tonight from 7 to 8 on the University Hospital's Cleveland Browns Radio Network. Coach and Browns linebacker Sione Takitaki will join the guys to get you ready for Sunday's game against the Chargers. I thought you were on location. All those people are going to be on location.
No,
you're not.
We're just
You're in-house. You're in-house. And we've got a scores.
All right, here we go. John Elway, believe it or not, was 6'3", 215.
Okay.
I don't believe that. I mean, he wore the most ridiculous
That doesn't feel.
body
He
armor.
definitely wasn't that in 1998. I mean, I could see him being that in 1987 or 8.
He had in his first 3 seasons in the league.
He was so much chestier, though.
Yeah.
No, it was.
In his first 3 seasons in the league, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Herbert's got 8, and we're not even close to it. And then let's see Dan Marino.
It's just a totally different game, though.
No doubt. But Elway was considered mobile and whatnot. Marino, 6'4", 220.
Well, he never left the pocket.
I mean, yeah, he rushed for.
He probably had 8 in his whole career.
He had 9 in his entire career.
Yeah.
He had 87 yards rushing in his whole career.
Yeah, that's about right.
87 yards rushing his whole career. He had negative rushing yards.
Well, if you left the pocket, you'd get killed. These guys can leave the pocket, and they don't get killed.
Well,
it's a totally different situation.
I'm just saying, even compared to his
it's
contemporaries.
totally different.
He was not a mobile.
No, he was not. All right, we got a scores for you coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, Gibby, we got a score.
Colts visiting the Broncos. Colts struggling, not playing too well. Denver,
30.
not playing great either. I have no idea what to expect. Zagura.
It's our first bad Thursday nighter.
And it's a doozy.
It is the first bad Thursday nighter. Where is it?
Denver.
Denver. We have like 20 seconds left in the show.
Broncos ram it.
Wow.
Same.
Thursday.
Or is it?
10.
Or is it?
We're back tomorrow. Next Level Next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.